Well, I don't remember exactly where I was at, but anyway, it gave me time to rig up this other one. This, like I was saying, this is going to be my new beginning stages of kind of like an exoskeleton for my hand. It's going to be run off of wires. Uh, I got some modifications to do to it yet. When I get this done, I'll post it as well. Uh, I have made a small jig right now that goes underneath my hand. Um, God, that's painful when you got to pull it out. Anyway, I have monofilament line for the moment, and I have a brace that it hooks to that wire and that hook, that kind of like a shoulder holster, if you will. And I have hooks on it that the monofilament line, which I don't know if you can see that, hooks to. The one problem I have with the monofilament line, it chafes the top of my hand. Where the wire, like whether it is, I don't know, it's bigger, but at the same time it causes just as many problems. Uh, so what I came up with is this. I've tried several different versions of it. It will allow you to open your hand just like a prosthetic, but the downside of that is getting the length of the wire of the monofilament line correct, for the reason either you get like so far out, or either you're like hyper extended and it hurts really bad when you open it, I must say. But once again, no difference in what they were doing in physical therapy as far as I was concerned. Felt like they was trying to pull my fingers off my hand. But this is just another example of bringing some type of functionality back in, and it's at your control. And the more I have worked with the shoulder holster brace, the hooks, the clamps, I've had 40, 50 different versions of this, maybe more. And in the end, I guess it all boils around to the point that if you don't use it, atrophy will set up in it so bad that even the smallest amount of movement is just off the scale worst as far as the pain. And the spasms, the cramps, what you want to call them, is just not in my program. You ever wake up in the middle of the night and your hands just stuck straight out just because of the spasms? You'll do what you have to do to make sure it doesn't happen again. As I post more in the future, I'll show you more of the devices. I didn't grab them before I started this, and the ones that I actually got left that's put together, I don't have in front of me. Depending on what materials you use and you try to research out, will depend on how long they last. Most anything I have done to a brace winds up eating the brace out, just like the other brace. This was my last brace. It gets pulled apart, especially where the piece of aluminum goes in, and I've come to the realization that anything I do, it really needs to be hooked to the aluminum piece rather than to the material side itself, because the clip winds up pulling through the material, and you can kind of stick your finger through it now because it pulls out. And depending on what you're doing, but it still helps it function. It makes it functional. Underneath my fingers right now, I have actually some little pieces of this with a little rod in it, and I have little rubber boots holding the rod piece, which you can see right here in, and it goes through the full length of the fingers. In most cases, I would use something like either Velcro, but once again, Velcro is very noticeable, so anybody and everybody is going to see your hand, and I've had quite a few people just reach down and grab my hand Even in church, they come by and they grab it and they squeeze it and they start praying, and all you want them to do is let go. Period. Let me go. Don't touch that hand. Uh, there, my wife had I guess it was a bra, and the strap piece was clear. I don't know what you call them, but it was an old one that she no longer used. Well, I have taken the straps off of them because they were clear. The next clear tape works real good. You can cut it down in smaller sections along the strips, smaller strips, and it's clear. I've even put some of her base makeup on it, and it covers up, and it looks just like your skin, and most people can't even tell you have it on. Unless if they're getting that close with a magnifying glass, there may be an issue there anyway. But I have never wanted somebody's pity for me, because I've always been one that if people are pitying you, usually going to wind up falling in that little barrel of pity, and you're going to start doing it for yourself. I know where I'm at in life. I know what has happened, and the cup I've been dealt. Now I got to figure out how to drink it so it works for me. But in the future, I will have this one going. I got several other, and occasionally I'll just go to the Lowe's around here. It's Stein's Lumber Company and Ace Hardware, Lowe's, and just start looking at pieces of hardware to find out what I can make and what they already have that would be useful or beneficial for me to make some type of exoskeleton type movement for my hand. I've used gloves, cut the fingers out of gloves. The monofilament line works great on them, but that's something you want to do in house, because the one time I wore it out, people look at you like you're a freak. Well, whatever. Live a day in my shoes and call me what you want. But in the end, this is what it is. If you have R.S.D in any part of your body, no matter how much it hurts, the one thing you need to do is never stop. Once you stop, the true bad side of life will come. Hopefully you have a good doctor that will work with you, that tries to help you manage the pain, and that continually tells you those words you don't want to hear. Use it or lose it. And that probably has made more sense to me. I've had 2 back surgeries. I've had 3 knee surgeries. And I know the benefits of physical therapy of every type, exercise of it. It's the only thing that will keep it alive. And even now, especially with my knees, if I get to a section where I don't use it a lot, or I start getting lazy with it, it starts hurting. And I'm aware of the benefits of physical therapy. So if your insurance company cuts you off of physical therapy like they did me, your medical care is in your hands. You're nothing but a number, a dot, and a space on a page. And I pray that God will put true virtue in everyone's heart to make it through, to just do the things that people say you can't do. Because the only way you can't do it is when you give up. God bless and shalom.